story we just read, I first want to introduce what we're going to be going over tomorrow. So we're going to be starting our unit on logic. So, logic is a subject that a lot of students struggle with, and the reason why they struggle with it is because what is logic in English is not always logic in math. So a statement might make sense in English, but in math it's not true, or what we call a fallacy, or vice versa. A statement that is true in math is not always true in English. So a lot of students have a hard time relating the information. So after reading the story, the biggest point that I want to point out is the scores from the story. So it talks about how Slippery Rock defeated West Virginia, and then West Virginia defeated Duquesne, and it keeps going down on the line. And the biggest claim is what? Annie.
Slippery Rock's fast.
Right. So basically, if you would put that into a logical statement, you would say, Slippery Rock, we'll just assume that if the team wins, if they beat the other team, that means that they're greater than them. So in math, that would mean that Slippery Rock would be greater than West Virginia. And then West Virginia, because they defeated Duquesne, is greater than Duquesne. And then going down the line, Duquesne is greater than Pitt, Pitt is greater than Notre Dame, Notre Dame beat Minnesota, and that would make Slippery Rock greater than them all. So in math, there's no fallacy with that statement. That would be completely true. But is it true that Slippery Rock's the greatest team?
Yes.
Yeah. We want them to be, but in English that does not mean the same thing. So that is why the biggest struggle with logic, and that's what I'm going to warn you about, that we're going to start tomorrow, is that what you apply logic in English is not always going to transfer to math and vice versa. So, before you panic though, you have used logic before in more reasons than you've known. So, when you're little and you're in a class, sometimes they ask you to line up in height order, or if you've ever been involved with dance or theater for the girls, like they have asked you to line up in height order, or a wrestling team might ask you to do that as well. So you might have a problem like this. Amy is taller than Bill, but Bill is taller than Jamie, and Jamie is taller than Lisa. So is Amy taller or shorter than Lisa when trying to figure out the order when someone's absent? That involves logic. So another thing you might have used logic before as well is, say you are looking at your debit account and you remember you made a payment on your credit card and you can't remember how much it was for, and you want to make sure you're not going to bounce. So you see the following numbers, 265, and you think to yourself, okay, well it was greater than that, and then you see 985, and you're like, okay, well it wasn't that much. So you use logic to determine, well, how much your value, how much you paid on your credit card. So you think, could it have been the amount that was for 547, 995, or 167? If anyone was able to follow that without looking at it, do you know which one it was? That's kind of hard.
501.
It would have been 547 because it had to be in between 265 and 985. So that would involve using logic, and that's just a simple everyday thing you might have done. So other situations I've come up with is, say you're taking a multiple choice test and you don't know the answer whatsoever. But you know there's 4 answers and you know for sure that it's not 2 of them. So you eliminated 2 options, and then you're left to pick the most logical solution. So, you know, maybe you don't know the answer, but you think, okay, these 2 don't really make sense to be the answer, so now you've eliminated the most illogical solutions. So that's an example of when you would have used logic. And then another one is applying to jobs. So a statement I came up with was, if I accept the job at KFC, I'll be close to home, but I will not enjoy my job. So another statement is, if I choose the job at JCPenney, I'll have a further commute, but the employee discount will be a nice benefit. So So does accepting the KFC job mean you will enjoy your job? So this is something we will discuss tomorrow, and it will involve using what we call if-then statements. So your homework, I have some vocab words. I want you just to use your book and define, and then bring them back tomorrow. And that's it.